I have something you want. You want my number, and you have something I want. I want your budget, right? And so in that situation, you're not giving me the budget. That's cool. Well, I'm not giving you my number. That's great. I want to see how serious you are, because if you're just coming around like shopping around for prices, like that's not how I want to spend my time.
One of the questions that I get asked the most when it comes to pricing is how to find out the client's budget. It seems like an impossible dance. You want to know the client's budget and they want to know your price. So how do you make this conversation a productive one that helps your client but also makes sure that you're not undercharging? To answer this question, I got on a call with Kwame Christian. Kwame is the founder and CEO of the American Negotiation Institute, and he's also the host of the #1 negotiation podcast, Negotiate Anything. This show has over 8 million downloads and listeners in 180 countries. Kwame's career took off after his popular TEDx talk, Finding Confidence in Conflict. He then went on to write 2 best-selling books, Finding Confidence in Conflict and How to Have Difficult Conversations About Race. In this video, Kwame and I role-played this tricky budget chat that you might have with your client. Kwame was also kind enough to do a live Q&A with my students in Balanced Business Bootcamp. To see if this course is the right fit for you and also to get access to that conversation, click the link below this video. How do we get the client's budget when they don't want to give it to us? That is one of the biggest questions that we get. I wondered if you would be up for like a little bit of role play, because I think it could be quite fun.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
I'm probably going to be a terrible client, so everyone forgive me. But I thought I could play the client, right? And you can play the designer.
Absolutely.
And I'll try to not give you my budget as much as to see like where it goes. I just thought it might be quite fun.
Okay. All right. So what I need from you, I need you to stop smiling. I need you to put on your angry eyes, your eyebrows down.
Yes.
Look more intimidating. Scare me.
I know. I'm too friendly. I can't, can't help it. So, okay. So, hey, Kwame, I would love to work with you. I've seen your work. I think it's amazing. What I really want to know is how much you would charge for a 30-second animation. So can you give me a quote on that?
All right. Well, I appreciate this, Haley. Thank you. And when we're working with new clients, there's a bit of a process that we have to go through in order to give you a proper quote. So tell me a little bit more about what you're hoping to accomplish with this project.
Yeah, well, we've got a business and we want to show our product off in the best light. So it's going to hopefully increase awareness for this new product that we're launching.
Okay, good. What are the things that you want to avoid in this process? So whenever you work with people, you have things that you want to accomplish. You want to create a 30-second commercial that launches the product. That's what I know you want to accomplish. As you go through this, what are the things that you want to make sure don't happen during this process?
I think that the biggest thing for me, because I'm the producer, I just want to make sure that we get it done on time, so that we can make the marketing team happy and they can put it out on social media and things like that.
So you want to make sure that we can produce something that meets the quality, 30 seconds, in order to launch this product. But you want to make sure that we can complete this on time to keep the marketing team happy, so we can get things out on social and things like that. And when you think about this project, tell me just a general range. What is it that you are able to spend on this project?
Well, because you're the animation expert, I thought that hopefully I was hoping that you were going to give me a price that I could take back to the marketing team, because they'll really want to know your price so that they can work out and stuff like that.
That makes a lot of sense. And I can understand where you're coming from, because you want to take the price back to the marketing team to see what they can do. What I've found is that sometimes if I give a quote at this point, people run away and they never come back. And so I have a personal policy. I don't give a quote until I understand what's realistic, because I don't want to run the risk of offending you in this process. So with that said, and again, I'm not going to hold you to this, what's a realistic range?
I don't know really, because I'm not really sure how much a 30-second animation would cost. So I was hoping that you would give me your price.
No, that makes sense. Well, how about we do this? Let's do this. Let's set up another meeting. And so you and the marketing team and me, we could all come together, we could have another conversation, and then we could talk about those numbers. Because again, at this point, I've seen it happen a lot of times. Sometimes the number can be scary and then people don't come back. But just to make sure that I can understand their concerns as well and address all of those thoroughly in real time, I think it would be best for us to set up another time to have a meeting. So let's pause for a second. So we have to remember the dynamics of leverage here. I have something you want. You want my number. And you have something I want. I want your budget, right? And so in that situation, you're not giving me the budget. That's cool. Well, I'm not giving you my number. That's great. I want to see how serious you are. Because if you're just coming around like shopping around for prices, like that's not how I want to spend my time. And so if your methodology is to get the budget, like that's how you can get it out. There's another school of thought, and I think both have value. I've heard people be very successful in sales doing both, seeing what their budget is and then responding to that, and also leading the dance with the price. And I think earlier on in your career, as you're trying to figure out what is a realistic market rate for you, getting their budget and starting to approximate through an iterative process, that is a really strong way to do it at the very beginning.
So what do you think about you providing them with a range? Because I think like sometimes that's what I've told people maybe they could try to kind of throw out like a big range, like, oh, this could cost something between X and X. And I guess like that's what you're hoping the client will do. I guess because the issue is, right, is if we're doing this dance so much, it's like what you want to do really is get to the pricing part of it as quickly as possible. Because potentially if you find out that they don't have enough budget to pay you what you want to be paid, you want to get away from that deal as quickly as possible, right? I think that sometimes that could be beneficial to do that, to throw out like a high price, because then it will either scare them away or they might say, oh, actually, we were thinking more like this.
That could work too. And I think one of the things we have to remember too is that there are different methodologies that could work in different scenarios too. And I think each of the examples that you gave could be viable. We just need to make sure that we're sticking to one in that moment. So saying, yeah, something like this could cost between $10,000 and $15,000. But in order to understand like what your price would be, I need to get more information. And so I think we have to remember all the time, no matter which methodology you decide to use, that information is the name of the game. I need more information in order to make a competent offer that is legitimate, but I also need information in order to substantiate that offer too. Because for example, in the example that we just did, okay, 30-second commercial, but I need to do it quickly because I don't want this to be delayed. Okay, well, I would continue saying, well, what is quickly? Because the faster you want it, the higher the price goes.
Thanks again to Kwame for joining me. And one important thing to note is these conversations can be quite tricky via email. So I always recommend getting the client on a call if you can. Remember, if you want to get full access to the live Q&A I did in my course, Balanced Business Bootcamp, see if the course is right for you by clicking the link below this video in the description. And if you want to learn more about pricing, then you should watch these videos next.